In Brookhaven, for those who don't know, has several versions. This is the version from 2025, but the game was made in 2020. So today, I want to play with you the Brookhaven from every year. And I'm going to start by playing the oldest Brookhaven to the newest one. So for that, I called my friend who's going to help me do this. But I'm going to start by playing the Brookhaven from 2017. He said Brookhaven didn't exist in 2017. Look, actually it did, but the game used to have a different name. Its name wasn't Brookhaven. This was the name of Brookhaven. So much so that if I enter this game, you can see that it doesn't really look like Brookhaven. He said, this is not Brookhaven. Look, actually it is, and I'm going to prove it to him. But guys, his avatar is bugged, and for some reason it looks really weird. So now, both of us are coming here to get a car, and I have to press this button, and I'm going to drive this car from the game. So much so that he's staring at me, and I don't think he's very happy. He said, I already told you, this is not Brookhaven. So I'm going to prove to him that it really is. Now I'm coming here to the hospital, and for those who don't know, this hospital is just like the one in Brookhaven. So much so that if I go inside, you can tell it's the same thing. Everything here is the same. But if I go into this other room, you can tell it's like this. And in Brookhaven, it's really the same. It's like this game is the 2017 version of Brookhaven. But he got right here and said, this is just a coincidence. Look, actually, it's not a coincidence. We have this food here. We also have this phone. And also this candy right here. But I'm going to show my friend other locations in this game that are also in Brookhaven. So we have to go back here because I want to show him the next location. I'm going to get this car. And my friend finally came here. But if you get here in front, we have this restaurant. And this is literally in Brookhaven. It's exactly this restaurant. He said, I'll only believe it if you show me one more location. Okay, so I'm coming up here. I'm going to show him the final proof, and this proof is really important. Perfect! I just arrived at the school, and you can tell that this school is the same as the one in Brookhaven. It's basically the same thing, and he even came here to see it. So much so that he's coming back here to check everything out. This school is really just like the one in Brookhaven, and he's looking here, and he said, now I believe you. And it looks like he finally believes me. But if I come back here, you can see that we have this gas station, just like in Brookhaven. We have the police station, which is the same as Brookhaven. Now I'm in the 2020 Brookhaven, and you can see that everything here looks very similar. He said, it really does look like Brookhaven. And it really does because this game is Brookhaven, but everything here is different. There are locations that look a bit like the game, but they look like older versions. And basically everything in this older version was literally changed over time and is unrecognizable because everything here is very old. But guys, I'm going to give a mission to my friend, and he has to find everything in this game that was simply removed from the game because there are locations that were removed, and really a lot of stuff was removed. So he's going to have to find everything. He said, okay, I'll call you when I find something. Now it looks like he's leaving here, but he just found the very first location of all. This place was totally removed, and for those who don't know, this is basically a giant skate park, but this skate park was perfect, and there was no reason for it to be removed. So I'm going to type this command in the chat, and now I can fly to see everything. We have this location that was totally removed, but my friend arrived here, and you can see that this is very similar. He said, it's similar because it's still in Brookhaven, and that's true, but I hadn't noticed this location is still in Brookhaven, but it's exactly here in the mall. And if I go inside the mall, we have this recording studio where everything is very similar to this other recording studio. And in this studio, I can go back here, and there's a giant mountain that I can climb like this. So much so that in the Brookhaven lake, there was nothing either. It was just a completely empty lake. And even my friend is arriving here in front to see this. This is really weird because there's a chair right there that's simply underwater. And that's strange. It's like the lake water level rose, and the chairs disappeared because they're underwater. But guys, my friend got here to see this, and he's just relaxing here. And this is the old Brookhaven lake from the year 2020, and in the more recent version, the lake looks exactly like this. We have a giant cave, but unfortunately there's no water here because of a bug that happened, but the lake is like this. And again, I'm flying here because we have a really strange bridge. So much so that my friend got here, but he's going to have to find the best location of all, which used to be in Brookhaven and was later removed. He's really going to have to find this location. He said, why? Look, it's because we're going to enter the 2021 Brookhaven, so we have little time to see everything in the old version. And guys, he came running back here because he has to see all of this. So much so that he jumped over this fence, and I'm flying away. And for those who don't know, here we have a giant volcano, and this really looks like a volcano, but later this was changed, and the game owner added trees, and now it doesn't look like a volcano anymore, which is pretty sad. But guys, it looks like he's calling me here because he just found the best location of all. He said, this is the town hall. And for those who don't know, this was the town hall back then. While in the current game, the town hall looks like this. It's simply huge, and the older version looked like this. So much so that if I go inside, you can tell there are several servers here, and we also have the FBI. Here we have the judges, and also the mayor's office, which even has the same computers that are in the current versions of the game. But now, we're going to enter another version of the game. Perfect! I just got in here, and this is the 2021 version. He even got here, and said, said, how weird, nothing changed. Look, actually a lot changed. There's really a lot in the map that's very different. The new houses were finally added, the mountain ended up getting smaller, and that bridge that was here was removed. So there really were changes. But I'm coming here to get this car, which is simply the first car in the game. So much so that he got in here, but unfortunately I'm not able to accelerate it. Perfect, I finally managed to do it. And you can see that in this version of Brookhaven there are stores that are different, and some stores were removed. This used to be the clothing store that was removed. And guys, this car is really bad. It's better to just walk. But even he left here, and again he's going to have to find his favorite location, because we don't have much time to explore this version. And it looks like he understood that, so much so that he ran off to try to find a location. But guys, it looks like he just found this restaurant, and for those who don't know, we have here a restaurant that was removed from Brookhaven. It was really beautiful, and it was a nice restaurant. But now, I'm arriving at the houses, and this player placed the first Brookhaven house, along with this other player here. And this guy was one of the first players of Brookhaven. And you can see that the house looks like this, and these buttons are totally different, because back then they were like this, while in the current game they look like this. And for some reason, there's a camera flying here, and the backyard of the house was huge. But right here we have a very strange car, because it has several parts missing. We also have new roads in Brookhaven, and these roads are very strange, because they are like this, while in the current game they look like that. They were simply changed, which is really weird. But I'm flying over the lake to see what it used to be like. My friend got here too, and this lake was very weird. But guys, he's staring at me, and he said, there's something secret in the cave. Look, I don't believe you. And it's impossible that there's anything there. But he's running up there, so I'm coming too, to see what used to be inside this secret cave. So much so that I'm arriving here, but from what I noticed, there's nothing much. It's just a place that was abandoned, and even he is confused. But there's something right here in the back, and if I go inside, you can tell that this mountain was very strange. It really looked like a volcano. So I'm flying to see the other locations. Now my friend got here, and he's going to have to choose his favorite location. He said, wait, what happened to the tunnel? Look, the tunnel is really weird, because it's completely bugged, and it's like several parts are missing, maybe because they were removed. But now it looks like he's flying to his favorite location. So I got right here, and apparently he chose the same location as before, but this time it has to be a different location. So now he got back here, and you can see that here we have the hotel, which was very different, because it looked like this, really bugged. And that's a good choice. He said, what's your favorite location? Look, I'm arriving right here, simply at my favorite place in Brookhaven, because this shouldn't have been removed from the game. But now, I'm in the 2022 Brookhaven, and you can see that everything here was very different. There are simply a lot of new things here, and this version of Brookhaven looks a lot like the most recent version of the game. So much so that he's looking here, and he said, wait, there's a store missing. And guys, there really is a store missing back here. And this store only came to the game a long time later, and this place was very different back then. Up here there was nothing. The clothing store had 2 floors, which was really cool, and it was actually better in the past than the current version of the game. So much so that he came here, and apparently he disagrees. But this is the clothing store, and back then it had 2 floors, and this is the new clothing store, which is really pretty, but it doesn't have 2 floors, so I don't know which one is better. But guys, now I'm coming right here, and you can see that everything here was different. Everything was simpler, and it was also smaller, but there wasn't even a town hall. There were already several houses in the game. I'm even flying over here to see the houses, because I want to see if anything changed. And you can see that this house looked like this. It still had these old buttons, but here is the biggest difference of all. And even my friend teleported here, but he's coming up here, because we want to see what changed up there. But actually, I want to see if he notices the differences here. He's even staring at me. And he said, in the old version there was no tunnel, that's all. Look, he's wrong. In the old version of Brookhaven, everything looked like this, while in the current version there are a lot of differences. We have this tunnel right here. We also have a new house, and houses number 23 and 24 were very different. Back then this one used to be right here, and the other house was in this spot, but it was changed, and now it looks exactly like this. There really were a lot of differences. But now, he ran off back here, so I'm going to type this secret command just to go faster, and now I'm arriving here, and I finally passed him. But you can see that right here we have this mountain, and there's a lot of weird stuff inside, so much so that I'm heading out because I want to see the old house. And you can see that this house looked like this, and the only change is that the fridge was yellow, and that doesn't make any sense. So much so that he even came here, and he said, let's go to the next version. And it looks like he already wants to go there, but we didn't even see this mall yet, and this mall was very different. You can see that everything here was strange and really different. Now we're in the 2023 Brookhaven, and you can see that everything here is more modern, so much so that my friend is back here, and he said it even has the game menus. It really does have the Brookhaven menus, and I can grab several items from the right side. There are even 2 items here that were simply removed, but most of the items remained in Brookhaven. The market here was very different, and you can see it looked like this, while in the current version it looks like this. But he ran back here, and he said in 2023 there still wasn't a beach. It's true, in 2023 Brookhaven still didn't have a beach. It only arrived later in the summer update. The police station was rebuilt, and it became much more beautiful. This place was finally redone, and it got a dealership up here, which was also removed, since in the most recent version, this dealership is no longer in the game. But my friend typed that command, and now he ran off. And he's really fast. So much so that he came back here and simply crashed into me, and I ended up flying away. And now he came back, and I don't know why he did that. He said, I'm the fastest man in the game. And now he ran off again. He's really fast. Then he ended up leaving the game because he fell off the map. And he probably respawned at the start. So much so that he's right here. But in this older version, there weren't many changes. We have this airport, and the hotel is right here. But it looks a lot like the current version of the game. So many locations are outdated. And there are some really strange locations. Because in the current version, everything here looks much nicer. But now, I'm flying away. And the weirdest thing about this version is definitely this border, because this was really strange. It was a giant edge that didn't let you leave the game. And if you tried to leave, you would just hit this wall. So it was impossible to get out. But after a while, that was finally removed. And that's when we finally got the new beaches in Brookhaven, which are really perfect. Of course, my friend came right here and said, wait, is this the current version? Look, it's not the current version yet, because in this version we still have the old mall. We also have the old hotel, or even the old airport. So it's a more recent version, but not the most recent. But guys, if I fly up, you can see that the beaches were finally added, and we were in Christmas time, because all the decorations are Christmas themed, and there are lots of Christmas trees all over the game. So much so that my friend is coming here, probably to check out this old mall, because it had a lot of changes. You can see that it looked like this. It simply didn't look like a mall. So much so that he's going up here, and there was an area in the mall that had nothing. The mall was really weird. He said, good thing this got updated. And that's true, the mall was updated, and now it finally looks like a real mall. But in this version of the game, there aren't many different things, because everything here looks a lot like the most recent version of the game, but some locations still hadn't been changed. And now, I'm finally in the most recent version of the game. We even have the new updates. Brookhaven today really looks way better than the older versions. He said it really improved a lot, and the current version of Brookhaven is much better than the old one. And guys, if you want to add me on Roblox, just click the Become a Member button, and I'll add you on Roblox.